Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Allen Family Firewood again. Glad to have you along. Today we're going to talk about drying wood and doing it in a hurry, because that's what we got to do. We got to dry wood fast. And over the years, I've learned a few tricks. I guess you could say tricks of the trade. I don't know, tips. Call it whatever you want, but there's some different things I've learned in all these years of doing firewood to make wood dry using Mother Nature to get it down to where it's got to be so that it'll burn. Now, I mean, obviously the quickest way is to throw it in a kiln, but I don't have one and probably neither do you, but we all got to make wood dry. And being in business, you need to make it dry rather fast, because the quicker you can turn it over, the more money you're going to make. So I've done a little footwork already this morning. I've gone up, grabbed a few pieces, and we might have to go back up there again, but I've seen all these videos where everybody tells you how to dry wood, but I've never seen anybody really show you how to dry wood, and we're going to kind of combine the two together today. So probably about a month ago, I split some hardwood. Now, I went up to the pile, and there was a pile of this kindling on the top. Now, they're the little pieces that come off when you're making the wood. So let's start with a moisture meter. That's the first thing you really got to have. Unless you've been doing this a long time and you know what banging wood is another real good way, but that takes some time to figure out. A moisture meter always tells you the truth. So let's take a piece of this kindling that we got up there, and it don't much matter. Let's get this thing to 0. Drive that in there. I'm getting 13%. Let's try this side. 13%. Now I know it's a piece of kindling, but I'm still going to try and split it. I'm not sure it's even really going to make much of a difference. Might make a little bit. Made a little bit. It's 14% in the middle. Now, this was on the same pallet. This is a stick of maple. How did I have that put together here? I don't know how I had that sitting there. There we go, like that. Now, I've already just split it here just for the sake of the video. So, like I said, all this wood was split like a month ago. This is all ready to go. Is this? Well, let's check it. Let's see. I'm going to say it's not. I got 30%. Oops, let's stay on the fresh side. That's 42%. Let's try this one. 35%. Now, this was split at the same time as that. So, why ain't they both dry? Well, that's simple, and I'm thinking you guys have already figured it out. Look how thin this is. That's key right there. What I'm trying to get across to you guys is the smaller you split your wood, the quicker it's going to dry. At least that's what I found out. I mean, if you split these great big chunks, you're going to be a couple years. I don't have 2 years to wait for firewood to dry. I don't have the land here to store that much firewood, so we need to make it dry quick. And we've always gotten comments in our videos saying, wow, Phil, you split your wood small. If you're selling to customers that are burning in a boiler or burning strictly just for heat, they're burning 4 to 10 quart a year, that's probably not what they're looking for. I mean, you can see, I mean, that's pretty small stuff. That's not who my customer base is. Most of our customers are buying bundles, or they're buying 1 quart a year, and they're burning it on Friday night and Saturday night for the aesthetics of it. The wife wants to have a fire, you know, in their glass front fireplace, and that's what they want. They just want something quick, and it's got to burn, and it's got to be dry. So that is why I split it small and can get away with doing what I'm doing. Now, I can't bring them kindling, obviously, because, well, it's kindling. They want good-sized wood. And this is going to take probably another month or two before it's ready to go. And I won't sell this until probably December, but it'll be fine by then. So there's kind of one of the quick things, and probably the most important, for getting your wood to dry fast. Now, number two, look at this thing. That's a piece of bark that I just picked from over there in the pile. And if you look over there, you'll see there's a lot of bark over there. I peel the bark off on almost all the wood that we're doing. Yes, it's a whole extra step, and most people don't bother with it. I do it for two reasons. One, this is like a sponge. I mean, it's still wet from a month ago. Now, when that's on the wood, it's holding the moisture in the wood. Take, here we go, there's a piece. Look at that. That's still got the bark on it. Now, if you peel that bark off, it's still damp all along. I think you can see the color change where that's still wet and out here is kind of dry. This side's dry. It's exposed to the weather. So isn't this side. The ends, but underneath that bark, it's not. Picture putting two t-shirts, take two t-shirts, soak them in a 5-gallon bucket of water, hang them out on the clothesline. Take one of the t-shirts and drape your raincoat over it, which is what the bark is. It's like a raincoat. It's a protective layer. And come back in 3 hours and see which t-shirt's dry. The one that was wide open, exposed to the weather, or the one with the raincoat. It's going to be the one that was wide open and didn't have a protective coating on it. So that's a whole nother thing that you can do to speed up your drying process. I also peel the bark off because, like you just saw, I can peel that bark off. When we split our wood, we stack it on a pallet, and I never touch it again. We dump it into the trailer. But over time, when it's drying, that bark's going to fall off and separate. We're just dumping the whole pallet in the trailer. So all that bark gets jostled around, shoveled around, moved around, and gets delivered to the customer. And they get a mess on the ground when they go to stack it. I don't like that. So if I peel the bark off in the beginning, my wood dries quicker, and I don't leave a mess when I dump it at the customer's yard. We don't always peel the bark. It depends. The shape of your wood is another thing. Now, actually, you know what? Let's skip something. We're going to skip that. To get wood to dry quicker, start out with drier wood. You can see this is a stick of pine, but it doesn't have any bark on it. This has been sitting in a pile for 3 years. Now I can lift that and tell you that that thing is soaked with water. Now, when you cut a tree down, it's over 50% water anyway, and that's our job as wood producers, to get rid of that water, moisture, so that it will burn. But pine will soak up water as it's drying, I guess you can say. But once you do split that, it only takes like a week or two, and it's dry. But I'm going to fire up the splitter and just kind of show you guys what works when I'm splitting and what doesn't work. So give me just a second here to move this stuff out of the way. Let's see. All right, you see me do that a couple different ways. There's a big chunk, and then there's these thinner pieces. This gets back to the size of your wood. Which one do you guys think is going to dry quicker? This great big chunk or this one? Now, we all have heard the saying, I don't know, the weather, the sun dries an inch of wood per year. That's a kind of a good rule of thumb. But with that, this is obviously going to take longer to dry than this. I need to bundle this like in 2 weeks. This will still dry, but it might take me a month or so to dry, where this is going to be ready, oh, in a week, it'll be ready. So let's look at something else real quick here. All right, so I went over to the pile of pine that's, well, not a pile, but a stack that I've split. It's probably been split for, a week, I'm guessing. And you can see, like I just showed you, the big pieces and thin pieces. There's a fairly good sized piece, and there's a lot thinner piece. Let's do a moisture reading and just check. See if I can, well, that didn't go in very far, but okay. Let's turn the moisture meter on. These are handy rigs to have. Over limit. I saw it read 39, so I know it's over 40%. Now on the outside, it's reading 18%. Okay, it's about what I expected. I think that was the... I'm not even sure where the piece went. Was it that one? No. I'm not sure what I did with the piece. Oh, it's right here. That's the other piece I picked off the pile. Now, it was, both of those were exposed out to the weather. So, yeah, let's do this. I could just tell that it's drier. Let's put that in there. 11%. That's on that fresh split. Let's check it on the outside. 10%. So you can see it makes a difference splitting it thinner than wherever that piece, I got so many pieces of wood here. The thinner the piece, when you're splitting it, it's just going to dry quicker. Now, we can go on to some other stuff here too, because we're working with Mother Nature, right? And I know this next one's going to be controversial, and I'm probably going to get all kinds of guff for it, but stack your wood. You know what? I take that back. I think it depends on where you live and what your environment is. Here in Maine, it rains all spring, and all summer long, we get the heat, but we also have 100% humidity. Nothing wants to dry when it's raining or 100% humidity. You gotta have dry weather. You gotta have the sun, the wind, and it's all gotta be going through. Now, we've all watched Chris in the Woodyard. He makes these firewood bins and makes huge piles, and it works good for him. But out west, they have that dry heat. And he's also out in the middle of a great big farm field where the wind's coming across, and it's flat country out there. It's not flat country here in Maine. I mean, there's different levels of our whole woodyard here going up. We're on a hill, and our woodyard's not that big. If I was out in the middle of the field, that's not even a big enough field that's out there, the cow pasture. But I've tried taking this pine, and I don't know if there's a piece here that would show it or not, but Probably I don't have one sitting right here, but we get this. I've taken and made those cone piles like everybody says to go and do. That's the best way to do it. Okay, I tried it. Pine will turn a white fuzzy mold like that far into the pile, a foot into the pile, and everything gets white and fuzzy. And it only takes a week. It's quick, and all that wood's no good. I can't send that out in bundles for someone to put in their SUV with their kids and bring it home to burn. Nobody wants all that mold in their vehicle, so it doesn't work for us. That's why we stack all of our wood. Hardwood, pine, it doesn't matter. And by stacking it and leaving a big air space, we're getting the airflow and the sun to hit it. And I don't get as much mold, put it that way. I would say with stacks, I might get 10% mold, where I'm losing 70 to 80% if I do it in a pile. So that's why I always tell people to stack their wood, especially if you're up here in Maine. I mean, it's just the weather we have, and it's dependent on where you're at. But stacking works good for us. What else? You know what? We ought to go up top where we've got all the wood and kind of show you what dry wood should look like compared to green wood. Because if you're buying wood, you should have some different things you should be looking for. One is a moisture meter, and check the wood that you're buying in, because this don't lie. Your firewood dealer, they might tell you some fibs. You never know. That doesn't fib, and they're cheap. They're 10, 20 bucks. So let's go up top side and go look at the wood up there. All right, so we're up here on the top side. This is some maple that I split probably a month ago. And you can see the ends are pretty fresh looking on this stuff. It's not even close to being dry yet, but it will be for this fall. And some of it, I did leave the bark on. Maple's going to dry fast enough for us. It doesn't really matter. But most of it, we've peeled the bark off. And that piece, I can tell you, probably would. I didn't bring the moisture meter up here, but that would pass muster right there. I can just tell. I can tell by how heavy it feels. So if you're looking at wood and you're buying wood and you're ready to burn it, this probably isn't what you're looking for. Just see the color of it. Now let's step over here for a minute. This is oak, and you can see there's no bark. We've peeled the bark off in it. And I don't know if you can really tell, but you can see some of the checking on the end. That's usually a good sign that it's certainly getting close to dry, but I can feel that. It's not there yet. It's just not. But look at the color. I mean, that's a different color compared to the other one. That's kind of what you're looking for when you're getting wood and you want to burn it now. You don't want it looking that fresh cut stuff. And here in Maine, a lot of people will tell you you're buying seasoned wood, and that's what we have to compete with. You go online, people are selling seasoned wood everywhere, and that's probably what they're bringing you is maple, and it's been split, cut and split for 3 months. That's what the state says is seasoned wood. They ain't gonna burn real good. It's still got water in it, gonna cause you problems, gonna plug your chimney up with creosote. It's just not what you want. You get all your BTUs from dry wood. The wetter your wood is, it uses up BTUs to turn all that water in the wood into steam, and you're losing all those BTUs. You're not getting it. So why? You might as well just buy dry wood to begin with, unless you have time to dry it yourself. Now, if you were to buy seasoned wood right now, and now we're just after the 4th of July, I don't know what the date is today, maybe the 15th, 14th of July, that maple's probably fine. You could buy seasoned wood right now, and that'll burn good for you this winter. Probably the same with this oak. But that's kind of what you're looking for. I don't know if I got a piece here with bark on it. There we go. There's another piece of maple that has bark on it, but as you can see, it just popped right off. That's pretty close to being ready to go in the wood stove, but I'd like to see it have another month or two, and we won't even start selling this until December. So I don't know if I got anything else over here. I mean, I haven't been up here to check. There's another piece of oak. Notice how small they're split, and bark's popping right off. I'm telling you, that's the biggest key right there. Split it small. Them big chunks, going to take a long time to dry. So I'm trying to think if there's any other real big tricks. I mean, start with wood that's already been aged. Logs that are maybe a year old. That's your biggest thing that's going to help you. Same with, I mean, hardwood, pine, it don't matter if the bark's already fallen off. That's what you're looking for. That's going to be some good stuff, and it's going to dry quicker. Split your wood small. It's got less volume to dry. It's going to dry quicker. Flip your wood. Peel the bark off if you are doing fresh wood. That's going to help. Get it out to the sun, the wind, and depending on where you are, I'm going to say stack it, because that's what works for us. Don't blow me up because I stack my wood, you guys. It works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but I don't really have anything else that I can think of right now, but we're going to keep this video pretty short today because I got work to get done, and I'm going to get after it. So I appreciate you guys hanging around and watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.